It's a disaster in here because we're moving. So exciting. We're moving to a shop about 4 times bigger than this one, 16,000 square foot warehouse. It'll be the new KM Tools manufacturing, production, and distribution home, as well as we're gonna have a new video shop. We're gonna be able to bring you lots of shop setup videos. Super exciting. That being said, we are finishing this charity build. We have this and a gantry crane that we're working on for our Katz-Moses Woodworkers with Disabilities Fund. We have this huge initiative that's gonna connect thousands of people who want to help with those who need help. Super cool. It's gonna be out in a couple weeks, the week after Father's Day. So we are still using the tools here to break down the shop and do some builds, and we're like under the gun. We got to go over to the other shop and do a bunch of trim and blocking work. And so I need like 6 tools, and I want to figure out how to get them into one without having to drag my chop saw over there and then drag it back. Same thing with the track saw, drag it back. So I came up with this. This is an all-in-one track saw. Look at this, can do cross cuts at 90 and 45 degrees. It can do rip cuts at anywhere from 45 to 90 degrees, probably more. It's got hold downs that either clamp it to the rip cut or to clamp the cross cut in place so you can flip it over and do repeatable cuts. It's got a stop block. This thing is absolutely nuts. You're gonna see through this build, we're just prototyping as we go. It was just in my head. All the materials that we use will be listed down in the pinned comment and description. They're all available in the KM Tools stores. So let's get started over at the table saw. All right, so now we need to put our T-track in the bottom of this. And again, we're winging this. We're trying to figure this out as we go. So I think I'm gonna go 1.5 inches in from both sides. I cut this to a length that my track saw's table to the blade is 3.5 inches. So if I go 1.5 inches in from both sides, it saves me from having to adjust the fence. You know, I can just flip the board around and do it. And I know that I'm definitely gonna clear the blade when I do that cutoff. I think too, that's wide enough that we'll be able to have a sturdy fence on the bottom that is adjustable, as well as, you know, hold down clamps and all of those things. I may end up putting T-track in the fence. I'm gonna think about it here as I do these, but let's get these cut. I've got the dado stack in there. If you want, we sell these on our website. They're fantastic. I got a discount code in the comment below. All right, so now this is where we start to think about how this is gonna go together. Normally you would like put this so it went all the way across, but because of the versatility of this one, what we're gonna do is mount it this way quite a bit. And the reason being, we wanna have some extra on the end, I believe. And then when we flip it over and we have this adjustable fence here that can do 45 or 90, we need to be able to clear the fence, but we're also gonna have a hold down on the other side. So when you go to cross cut things, it's gonna work really well. Because both of these edges are square, we'll be able to square our fence off the cut edge. So once we cut this edge, we know it'll be perfectly parallel to the fence. And so we can take a square when we're setting this fence and use it to get a perfect reference to the other side. You'll see it here in a second. We're almost getting to that point. So what I'm gonna do is glue my fence here. I'm gonna really try and get it as parallel to this as possible because I know these two edges are parallel. So I don't wanna have it be too far off. I'm gonna attach this with glue and what are called pin nails. And if you've never seen these, they're super cool. It's a headless nail. It's shaped just like a nail, so it has a triangle on the front, but it has no head. But basically it allows you to keep working. These are great for putting together jigs, great in tricky situations because you really cannot see these unless you get up really, really close to it. So for this kind of thing, it's gonna be a perfect application because it's gonna allow us to glue the fence down, shoot in some pin nails, and then, you know, we can just keep working without having to wait for the glue to dry. So as I always say on this channel, we don't hide our mistakes. Let me give you a real good tip here. Check the length of your screws before you shoot them into your table saw, like a dummy. And then don't find new screws that are also too long and you think they're the right size and do it again without checking. Yeah, winning today, baby. I'm gonna sand these out and then we're gonna get to making our fence for the underside, the one that can go like this or like this or like this. It's gonna be really cool. Okay, I squared up a piece of maple. I went with maple because it's just really hard and it's gonna stay straight. Then I took it, I measured it at 45 and 90. It was a little under an inch of travel that I needed, so I'm gonna go with 2-inch slots in this, and that's gonna allow my fence to be adjustable. Then I'm also gonna make a stop block with a 1/4-inch hole, but I'm gonna do the hole before I chop it up, so that way I've got some meat to run my new Tamar router jig on that we are currently in production on. We did a pre-sale a little while ago. It's sold out, but we're gonna have another batch in a couple months. You can head over to Tamar's. I'll leave a link down in the pinned comment. You can sign up to be notified when we have them back in stock, which I'd highly recommend because they're gonna go quick again. Come on into the bench. Let's cut these slots. We're doing it with a 1/4-inch upcut bit so we can clear the chips out because we gotta go a long ways, and this is a small router, so we don't want it to work any harder than it has to. All right, now we're gonna go ahead and put this together. Everything I use is gonna be linked down in the pinned comment. These are all the really high quality knobs we use on Tamar's jig. They're all available in the Katz-Moses store. We got some 3-inch bolts, some knobs. I got a couple hold downs here, which I'll show you what those do here in a second. So now we're gonna trim up our track saw. This is real easy. We're gonna set our depth to just below the surface here. And then we're gonna just make a fresh cut. Now this will give you a fresh edge. We've ripped off a clean line here, so we know this is straight. I'm sorry, this line is straight and square. This would allow us to do a 45 or any angle we really want. And then my other thought with this was I was gonna use this side as a 90-degree cross cut, and so this would right here. But herein lies a problem with where these are, is it's gonna hit the motor if you do anything more than like any depth at all. So I have a solution for this, which is I need to move these bolts out of the T-track so that the bolts flip the other way and the knobs are on this side. But the way this is going to work is we're gonna have these hold downs. Your crosscut thing's gonna go here and be up against this fence. So I tried it right here with the current layout I have here, and that's not gonna work. So what I'm gonna do is go to a hole here and a hole here. But to get those, I'm gonna have to elongate these slots a little bit. So I'm gonna go back. Luckily, I haven't changed my router. I think originally I had said these were 2 inches, but I'm gonna bring them in closer to each other. And then I'm gonna do one hole through here, flip it over, set this up using a square so that it's super square to this smooth edge. So you gotta make sure you're referencing off the clean edge because we know that's square to our fence. We know it's a square line. And I'm gonna drill a second hole through the other way so that way I can mount like this and mount it through the other side where the bolts are on the bottom, leaving room for the motor. We may have to take this fence down a little bit depending on how deep we want to cut, but I think for right now we're okay. We'll see once we get it set up. Came out so good. All right, so listen, it can do 4 things all in one track saw that you can make yourself, all with just a few items from my store. It does 90-degree cross cuts, 45-degree cross cuts. It can do any angle rip cut from 45 to 90. So let's test it out. Let's see how it works. Well, that came out amazing. It came out like way better than I could have hoped. And like I said, we're working on this charity build. This is the one-handed vise workbench that we're working on, mini workbench, and then there's a gantry crane. This will be out in a couple weeks. We're gonna tell you all about those cool, big, huge initiative we're doing with charity. We're gonna be able to connect thousands of people together, those people who want to help with those who need help. It's gonna be really cool. As far as this goes, I mean, look, it does cross-cut 45 degrees, cross-cut 90 degrees. You can hold the piece in there. You can set a stop block. It does rip cuts at 90 and 45 degrees and anything in between. You can set any angle you want. And if you slide it down, you could do inverse angles. I mean, pretty freaking cool, guys. And especially if you're just getting started out and you need something that's really mobile, this is really gonna work well for you. I do own a track saw, but we need them here. We're using them. We're not ready to move them yet. We just gotta go do a bunch of trim over there, a bunch of blocking for a new wall. And I just need something where I can just take it, throw it in my SUV rather than have to like drive my work truck over there, you know, yada, yada, yada. Save time, save space. It's all about efficiency, baby. That's what we do here. Guys, all of the materials used in this are available in my store. It really helps support the channel when you buy things from the KM Tools store, so I really, really appreciate it. As always, stay safe in the shop. Have a wonderful day.